This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I'm your host, Jesse Tapia, and would you look at that, for the first time ever, the Philadelphia Eagles have won a Super Bowl. Believe it or not, Nick Foles, David knocked off Tom Brady, Goliath. Alright, it happened. Nick Foles outplayed Tom Brady. And I know people are going to say, oh, look at the stats. Tom Brady had over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. It goes deeper than stats. Let me tell you that much right there. All right, so yeah, obviously, first show since the Super Bowl. So we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl in the first segment. We're going to be talking about both teams in the second segment. And then in the third, we'll talk NBA games from yesterday, as we always do. And then for the fourth, we'll make my picks for the games going on tonight. Got a couple of fun ones to look forward to. And we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. Also, just noticed today, I'm terrified of bearded dragons. Alright? They're little nice creatures, but I can never hold one. Can't really get near one. Alright? Just learned something new I learned about myself, but nonetheless, let's get back to it. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl game, and what a game it was. Philly knocked off the Pats 41-33. Nick Foles had 28 completions out of 43 attempts, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. All right, Nick Foles, believe it or not, also caught 1 touchdown pass. That touchdown pass came from Trey Burton, who completed 1 out of his 1 attempts, 1 yard, 1 touchdown from him. And then you had LeGarrette Blount with 14 carries, 90 yards, 1 touchdown. Nice little revenge game against his old team. Jay Ajayi, 9 carries, 57 yards, pulled off a couple of nice little runs for Philly. As far as receiving goes, Corey Clement, he led the Eagles in receiving. He had 4 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar had 9 catches for 84 yards. Alshon Jeffrey, 3 catches, 73 yards and a touchdown. Zach Ertz, big game from him, 7 catches, 67 yards and a touchdown. Then you had Torrey Smith with 5 catches for 49 yards. As for those New England Patriots, you had Tom Brady complete 28 out of his 48 attempts, 505 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also dropped a nice little pass from Danny Amendola. Brady alligator armed it. Brady, all right, believe it or not, is not much of an athlete, if we're being real here. All right, if you don't believe me, go look at that little combine photo that he had. I mean, that's the ultimate I'm not an athlete photo right there. All right, in baseball, they say pitchers aren't athletes. Tom Brady could probably play pitcher since he's not one. All right, James White, he had 7 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Dion Lewis, 9 carries for 39 yards. Then you had Rex Burkhead with 3 carries for 18 yards. Let's see, Danny Amendola, he had 8 receptions for 152 yards. Just a monster pro season from him. Dude played well in each of the 3 playoff games that they were in. Chris Hogan, 6 catches, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Rob Gronkowski, 9 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rex Burkhead had 1 catch for 46 yards. Brandon Cooks, he had 1 catch for 23 yards before meeting Malcolm Jenkins and getting knocked out of the game. I mean, what a hit that was. That was probably the best hit of the night, for being real here. I mean, yeah, it sucks that Brandon Cooks left the game with a concussion, but it's football. All right, and that hit that Malcolm Jenkins led on him was just crazy. You see Brandon Cooks catch the ball. He's going, moving around. Ooh, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Let me turn left, and boom, Malcolm Jenkins is right there and just lights him up. So it's a fun little hit there. But nonetheless, like I said, the Philadelphia Eagles are your Super Bowl champions. Let's go half by half with this. All right, so first half, Eagles took the lead. Jake Elliott kicked a nice little field goal, which made it 3-0. Then Gostowski comes back, kicks another field goal, which makes it 3-3. And then Alshon Jeffrey towards the end of the first quarter caught a 34-yard touchdown pass from Nick Foles, which made it 9-3. 9-3 because Jake Elliott missed his extra point. And also in that quarter, you saw Gostowski miss a field goal. And that was about like a 24-yarder that he missed. But in his defense, the long snapper snapped the ball. It was a bad snap. All right, and the holder didn't get the laces out. And then Gostowski just really, because it wasn't like a clean snap or anything like that. It was pretty much to the left. All right, you got to wait a second. Then he's got to position it, and that pretty much messed up Gostkowski's rhythm. But nonetheless, it was an ugly kick. All right, disgusting. So nonetheless, first quarter ends 9-3. Second quarter comes LeGarrette Blount with a 21-yard touchdown run, which made it 15-3. Philly didn't convert on their little 2-point conversion. Then Gostkowski comes back, kicks a field goal, which makes it 15-6. Philly still up. Next up, you got with 2 minutes left, James White with a 26-yard touchdown run, which makes it 15-12. Philly still up. And then with 34 seconds left, Nick Foles catches that 1-yard touchdown pass from Trey Burton, which made it 22-12 Philly. All right, so that's how the first half ended. Let me tell you about the first half. Tom Brady, believe it or not, did not look good. Okay, Tom Brady did have some nice little stats in that first half, but I think that was just because of the fact that Philly could not, their corners, their secondary could not cover those receivers, those Patriots receivers, to save their lives. Any double move, and you had them beat. It was ridiculous, all right? Brady wasn't really connecting with Gronk in that first half, really wasn't looking good as far as throwing those short passes, and the only ones he was completing were those passes down the field, but it's not like he was fitting them into a tight window or anything like that. It's pretty much, you got Chris Hogan or Danny Amendola all by themselves, 30 or 20 to 30 yards down the field. And, I mean, I couldn't make that throw because I don't have an arm, but that sounds funny. I do have an arm. I'm talking about strength. Nonetheless, I getting back to it. I mean, it wasn't hard throws for Brady to make, and, I mean, good on him. He completed them, but yeah, just like I said, he didn't look good at all in the first half. And then you got the Eagles, who looked great in the first half. All right, Nick Foles took them down the field on their first drive. They got a field goal out of it, but nonetheless, I mean, the guy was lighting them up, lighting up that defense constantly, back to back to back. And he just looked good for the entire game. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, Philly was just completely outplaying the Patriots. That little pass that Brady dropped was in the first half. And then you see Doug Peterson say, you know what? We're going to try the same thing, except we get a little bit more of an athlete at quarterback. And I love that play that they ran too. It was 4th and goal down at like the 1-yard line. And you see them lined up. You got Clement back there, and then you see Nick Foles go over to the right tackle looking like he's going to talk to him. Then he sets his feet, gets set, and they snap the ball to Clement. And he runs to the left, Burton's running to the right, and it looks like a reverse once Clement gives him the ball. And then you see Nick Foles all by himself, and Burton throws it to him. Boom, easy touchdown right there, like I said, with like 34 seconds left in that first half, and that was a real game changer. Not even a game changer, I should say. It kept the momentum on Philly's side right there. They needed to score big right there, and the fact that they got that touchdown towards the end of the first half was huge because, like I said, I mean, New England at that time, before that touchdown, was only down 15-12. You had them driving down the field on that James White touchdown drive. And I texted one of my buddies. I was like, you know what? Philly's got to win this game. Philly's got to score here. Otherwise, the Patriots are going to go back and take the lead at the beginning of the second half. All right. And for them to go out and pretty much risk it, take a big risk on 4th and goal. Okay. Because let's say this. All right. On that 4th and goal play. Let's say that Philly doesn't get it. All the momentum shifts over to New England. All right, they get all of that, especially with a 4th down stop at the goal line right before the half. After you scored a touchdown and brought it back down to 3, that's it right there. But nonetheless, I mean, they got it. So that's how the first half went. Second half comes, and then the Patriots start off. Boom! They finally realized in that second half drive that they have Rob Gronkowski on their team. And they were looking for Gronk that entire time. I think he finished that first drive of the second half with 4 catches for 64 yards and finished it off with a touchdown. All right, caught a nice little 5-yard touchdown pass from Tom Brady. That made it 22-19. Philly still up. And then next up, you had Corey Clement with a 22-yard touchdown pass from Nick Foles. Some controversy there. All right. The NFL really needs to go and fix that catch rule because, I mean, there was twice in this game where there was a little bit of a controversy as to whether or not something was a catch. And this Clement one, I guess, yeah, should have been controversial. Probably shouldn't have been a catch, all right? So, I mean, this was a great throw by Nick Foles, too, right here. You have Clement running down the field. He's got, I think, one guy right behind him. Good little coverage right there. Nick Foles fits it in perfectly for Clement to catch it. And he tries bringing it in, but the ball shifts around a little bit. I wouldn't say it was like a bobble or anything like that because he had it. It's just the ball moved a bit. I guess you could consider that a bobble, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, the ball shifts, and then he finally brings it in. He gets 1 foot in, and then the second foot that hits down after he controls it barely hits on the back of the end zone, the out-of-bounds line. So I'm thinking, you know what, it's not going to be a catch. Chris Collinsworth was hoping it wasn't a catch. And pretty much everyone thought, yeah, this isn't a catch because he shifted around a little bit and didn't have complete possession until he got that until he didn't have complete position until after, and he didn't get both feet in. All right. So the refs come out, and sure enough, to everyone's surprise, they said it was a catch. I'm not sure really why they ruled it a catch or how. I wasn't mad at it, but nonetheless, I mean, obviously with that, like that looked like it wasn't a catch at all. Well, not even at all. Like I said, the ball shifted. So I don't understand the criteria that the refs went through or looked at to see, oh yeah, this is definitely a catch, and just said it stood. All right, but nonetheless, it was a touchdown that made it 29-22 or 29-19. Philly was up. And then towards the end of the third quarter with 3 minutes left, you had Chris Hogan catch a 26-yard touchdown pass from Tom Brady. Hogan was basically all by himself there. Made it 29-26. Philly still up. Fourth quarter comes. About a minute has passed, and Jake Elliott kicked a 42-yard field goal, which made it 32-26. Then the Patriots eventually took the lead. Rob Gronkowski caught another touchdown pass from Brady, which made it 33-32, New England up. And then with about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, the other controversy of the game. All right. Zach Ertz runs a nice little slant route. Foles hits him. Ertz catches it. And I don't understand why there was controversy around this one. They were trying to, let me go through it and tell you what happened. All right. So Ertz catches it, tucks it, takes about 3 steps, goes forward, takes 3 steps going forward, and then reaches out, and the ball pops up. And one thing I don't get to is the ball popped up, but it didn't pop up because it hit the ground. It hit off of his hand was under it once the ball popped up, and he still caught it while the ball was in the air. So there shouldn't have been any controversy to this catch. And then you got guys like Le'Veon Bell tweeting out, oh, what was the difference between the Jesse James catch? Jesse James catching against the Patriots, he caught it, went down, stuck the ball out. All right, he didn't catch it, tuck it, and take 3 steps forward or anything like that. It wasn't even close to the Jesse James catch. For you Steeler fans, I think it wasn't. It wasn't close. All right. Yeah, I think the Jesse James one probably could have been a touchdown, but this was nothing like the Zach Ertz touchdown catch right here. So I don't understand why it was even controversial. You have Chris Collinsworth saying, oh yeah, that's definitely not a catch at all. That should be overturned. And I'm not sure if Chris Collinsworth had money on the Patriots or anything like that, but the guy was rooting hard for them, it looked like. All right. But nonetheless, that's a touchdown right there. Then that makes it 38-33. They failed on a 2-point conversion there. And then you're thinking, you know what? They left Brady too much time. Everyone's tweeting out, oh, we know how this ends. You gave Brady too much time. He's going to win the game right here. I think it's the first play of that drive. Brandon Graham was on the inside of the line and gets past the guard, sticks his hand out, knocks the ball out of Brady's hands, and then I think it was Derek Barnett who recovered the fumble. And everyone was going crazy, including me. All right, big play there. First defensive stop of the game. And defense does win championships, okay? They do. Yeah, they gave up 33 points, but when it mattered most, they came up with a stop and got a turnover. So, don't ever say that offense wins games because it's all coming down to the defense. Let me tell you that much. All right? So, yeah, that happens, and then Philly runs the ball 3 times on their next drive, gets the clock down to a minute left, kicks a field goal, they make it, which makes it 41-33. Then you're thinking Patriots got no timeouts, 1 minute left. In reality, with any other quarterback, you think, oh, game's over. They're not going to be able to make it down the field in time. But it's Tom Brady. So he has us worried, wondering, oh, is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to be able to get it down the field and score and get the touchdown? And again, it's just 1 minute left with no timeouts. So obviously, it's more than likely not going to happen. But he had everyone on the edge of their seat. First 3 plays, they got nothing. 4th down comes. I think they completed a pass to Danny Amendola for the first down. Nice little play right there. And then Brady hits Gronk consecutive times. They get down to the 50-yard line or near there, I think it was, and they tried getting it was 14 seconds left. They tried running another quick play to the sideline, didn't work out, incomplete. So 9 seconds left, 1 play left, and we all know who it's going to. It's going to Gronk. Brady drops back, avoids the sack on the first try, then airs the ball out, and you see Gronk's right there. There's about 4 other Eagles players around him. And the ball gets batted down. Eagles win the game. Probably one of the best Super Bowls I've watched in the last decade or so. Probably in recent memory, I guess you could say. I mean, this game was back and forth. All right. It was weird, too. I felt like I was waiting for Nick Foles to have a little bad drive to where the Patriots were going to come back and take the lead. And that didn't really happen until the 4th quarter. But Nick Foles really didn't have a bad drive. He played like a perfect game. Probably the best game he's ever played in his life, before being real. I mean, the guy was making difficult passes, was putting him in nice little spots. I mean, the dude just played lights out. It was ridiculous, all right? And the Patriots didn't start Malcolm Butler in this one. We're going to talk more about the Malcolm Butler situation in the next segment. We're going to talk more about Nick Foles' game, too, and talk about Carson Wentz. I'm just going to save that all for the next segment, but that's how the game went. Obviously, since we're doing the next segment talking about both teams, we're going to get a little bit more about the Super Bowl and all that as far as the game goes. And right now, we just did the stats and pretty much talked about each half, but nonetheless, we'll be right back, and we're going to just continue talking more about it. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back, like I said.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. That first segment we spent recapping the Super Bowl itself, talked about Philly winning, talked about stats and pretty much the scoring plays that happened. And for this one, we're going to talk about the Patriots benching Malcolm Butler, the Eagles, what they do with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, and talk a little bit more about the game, I guess you could say. All right, so as far as the game goes, yeah, we did the stats and all that in the last one, but now let's talk about a couple of other things, okay? I think that Bill Belichik coached well in this game, but still Doug Peterson outcoached him. All right. Peterson, I'm not sure if it's just a Kansas City thing or anything like that, because like I'm saying Kansas City because Peterson was the quarterback's coach, I believe it was, for the Chiefs before he came to Philly, or was the offensive coordinator. Can't remember exactly which one he was, but nonetheless, he came from KC. Over in KC, they know how to beat the Patriots, and they know how to beat down on them. All right, and Doug Peterson came out with the perfect game plan, and one of the best things he could have done in this game and did do was not take the foot off the gas and continue trying to score on the Patriots at every given opportunity they had. All right, you saw Doug Marrone in Jacksonville against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. They had the lead. They were up, 14-3 and 20-10 at 2 separate points, and they played not to lose. They didn't play to win. They played scared. All right, they played like, oh, we gotta make sure that we gotta protect this lead. We can't do anything dumb. We gotta switch it all up. And sure enough, Patriots came back. Eagles didn't do that at all. They stuck to what they were doing. All right, didn't change up anything and continued just to execute the game plan. And that's that's probably the biggest reasons. One of the biggest reasons why the Eagles won this game. All right, yeah. Nick Foles did have the game of his life too, and we're going to talk about that. But nonetheless, I really like the way Doug Peterson coached this game. I mean, did everything. This whole everything the Eagles did was perfect as far as going about winning the game. Obviously, the defense could have been a whole lot better, but nonetheless, I mean, the defense did come up with a stop when they needed it. All right, so yeah, that's how that went. And now there was controversy about Malcolm Butler not playing on defense in this game. All right, didn't start. The only time he was on the field was for special teams. All right, and you know what? There wasn't much punting going on, and I'm not sure if he was with kickoff and kick return teams, but nonetheless, dude did not play one snap, I think it was, at the cornerback position. And people are questioning why this was. All right, there was talks about he missed curfew because he went to a concert, or he had drugs on him or something like that. And let's see, what else was there? He just was sick. And just all that right there. Those were all the rumors as to why. I don't think anyone knew for sure. And Butler literally about a few minutes ago released a statement, or a few minutes ago as I'm recording this podcast, but released a statement saying that all the stuff about him missing curfew and all the other ridiculous stuff was false and not true. He said he was ready for the game. Didn't miss curfew, didn't do anything else wrong or anything like that, and they just didn't play him pretty much. All right, I don't have like the full statement on. I'm just paraphrasing a bit. So Butler comes out and says that it's not true then, and Belichick says it wasn't disciplinary. So obviously it was for game plan reasons, unless they're both just lying to our faces. I'm inclined to think that they're telling the truth, since they both pretty much got the same story. Belichick saying it's not disciplinary, Butler saying they just did it because they gave up on him and they thought that was the right move. All right, so now the question isn't what did Butler do. The question is, did Belichick make the right decision? And obviously it seems like he didn't, but if Belichick goes out and says that Butler wouldn't have changed anything for him and Rowe gave them the best chance to win on defense as far as executing the game plan, I feel like I'm more inclined to believe, think that Bill Belichick made the right move, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm not even sure. This whole situation is kind of weird because it's like you're either questioning Belichick or you just think that Butler wouldn't have made a difference. All right, and Eric Rowe, I saw a stat that he gave up 130 yards on third downs alone. And you got to think in your head that Malcolm Butler, yeah, he hasn't been the greatest this season or anything like that, but you got to think that he could make a little bit of a difference, at least limit Nick Foles throwing all over you, right? I mean, the guy's not like a terrible cornerback or anything like that. He's not the greatest. He's not top 5 either. But nonetheless, I mean, you got to think. Eric Rowe's getting beat on every single play it was looking like. I mean, Nick Foles constantly went to that side of the field and constantly succeeded, right? You got Stephon Gilmore locking up Alshon Jeffrey in that second half. And Rowe was just hurting the team. He was the weak link on that defense, if we're being real here, along with that defensive line too. But I mean, like I said, gave up 130 yards on third down. So you got to think in your head that, you know what? If you're Bill Belichick, you got to think, all right, you know what? Yeah, we didn't think Butler was going to fit the game plan for this game, but we got to try something else because this just simply isn't working with Rowe. And you got to throw him out there, right? I mean, I just don't get why. Like, maybe there is more to this story and they're not telling us the truth, but it makes no sense to me why you don't stick Butler out there. Even if Butler did do something, let's just say he didn't. He says he didn't. Or let's say he did do something. He says he didn't, so I'm going to believe him. But let's just play hypothetical game right here like ESPN likes to. Let's say he did do something. I think you still play Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl game. Yeah, fine, don't start him. But if you see that Eric Rowe is getting beat constantly, then you got to throw Butler out there because it's the Super Bowl. You got to do whatever it takes to win this game. I mean, you already did with Spygate and all that other stuff, but nonetheless, I mean, why not throw Butler out there? All right, and that's probably one of the biggest questions. That is the biggest question coming out of New England after that game. Why didn't they play Butler? And you have people legitimately questioning Bill Belichick, saying that he made a mistake and all that. And it's kind of crazy because Bill Belichick has always been that guy that pretty much knows how things are going to go. Always knows where to put people, when to put people in and all that. Pretty much put him in the right position to succeed. And maybe he finally just made one of those big mistakes that cost him. I'm not in that too. There's another thing that them not playing Butler cost them the game. I don't know about that. All right, you're telling me that if Malcolm Butler's out there, then the Patriots win that game? Because the way Nick Foles was playing was ridiculous. All right. And I don't think Butler going out there is going to affect the wins and losses part of it, but maybe he'll limit, or maybe he'll come up with a pass breakup or two as far as him being out there on the field. But we'll never know. And like I said, I don't really believe in that whole Butler not being out there cost them the game. All right, yeah, Rowe was bad, but we'll never know for sure whether or not Butler would be that much, would be way better. All right, probably would have been a bit of an upgrade because, like I said, Rowe was just terrible in that game, but it's one of those we'll never know, so there's no point in even talking about it. It's over with. It's done with. Belichick's not going to tell you the real reason why, and, well, he told us why, but we're not sure if that's ever going to be the real reason, and Butler came out and told us his side of the story. So, I mean, it is what it is. But going back to Nick Foles, I mean, nice little bridge there. Like I said, Butler's not making much of a difference with Nick Foles out there. I mean, the guy was ridiculous. All right, was throwing to the sidelines, dropping it just where Nelson Aguilar could get it. All right, there was one play in the fourth quarter where Aguilar's in the middle of the field, and there's two linebackers there, and Foles fits it in between that tight window between them to get the ball to Aguilar. He goes down the field a bit, and then that Corey Clement touchdown pass, I mean, that was ridiculous, that throw right there. The guy played incredible, was making all kinds of throws, pocket presence was good, all right. Was able to move around a bit, and his throwing on the run was just as good too. I mean, I don't think he If anything, he missed like maybe one or two throws, it felt like, on the run. And that's pretty difficult because not too many quarterbacks can throw on the run. All right, Aaron Rodgers is the best at it, but after that, there's a bit of a drop-off. So what happens now? Do you go with Nick Foles as your starter now that he had this incredible game, helped win you a Super Bowl, and just played incredible for this postseason? For the next season, do you make him your starter? Or do you go with the quarterback who's coming off of an ACL injury? All right. And I know what my answer was, and I knew what it was before the game and what it is still after. If I'm Doug Peterson, I'm going with Carson Wentz as my starter for the 2018 season. All right. We can't be prisoners of the moment. And you know what? Nick Foles isn't a bad quarterback or anything like that. The dude plays well when he's got talent around him. But he's going to be 30, I believe, or 29. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to be 29. He is 29. All right, won't turn 30 till next year. So, yeah, he's 29 right now. Carson Wentz is currently 25. That's 4 years younger. All right, how's that for math right there? So, even with Carson Wentz tearing his ACL, he's the younger option, and he's going to be cheaper. I know you're going to have to pay him in 2 years, but nonetheless, that's 2 years where you don't have to pay him, whereas you'd be paying Nick Foles. All right, and let's not forget about Carson Wentz. The dude was going to win the MVP this season. All right. If not for that torn ACL in the Rams game, the dude was a shoo-in for MVP. Brady wouldn't have even came close to winning it. All right. Carson Wentz, as far as overall talent, is the better quarterback if you look at it. All right. The dude is, I think Carson Wentz is going to be on that tier with Aaron Rodgers eventually when he develops some more. I mean, the dude's only in his second year, and he was going to win MVP. All right, was leading the league in touchdowns and was up there in passing yards, I think it was. Wasn't throwing picks or anything like that, really. So, I mean, we're just having a monster year. All right. And Doug Peterson, I think it was yesterday morning or the press conference after the Super Bowl, said that he expects Carson Wentz, or next season, he expects to start it with Carson Wentz leading them at quarterback. So obviously Doug Peterson has it in his mind that, yeah, Carson Wentz is going to be our quarterback, and I think that's the right move to make. You can't go away from the plan, all right? As much as you might think it'll work, or as much as you might want to, you got to stick to the plan. Yeah, Nick Foles brought Philly its Super Bowl ever, but let's not forget how you got there, all right? You don't get that first seed without Carson Wentz, and like I said, I completely understand either way. If they were to go with Nick Foles, I get that too. All right, because Nick Foles, I mean, looked like a top 5 quarterback in that Super Bowl game. But now what happens to Nick Foles if they do trade him? I think he either needs to, if they're going to trade him, obviously they're going to, I think the Philly, they're going to do good by Foles, tell him pretty much, where do you want us to ship you? Or actually they'll be like, all right, these 3 teams want you, where do you want to go? All right. Cleveland would be a nice little fit for Nick Foles, I think. They have some little brewing over there. They got a nice little front office staff now. You got Todd Haley as the offensive coordinator, and everywhere he's gone as an offensive coordinator, he succeeded. Even as a wide receivers coach when he was first starting out, I mean, the dude did well everywhere he went. The only time Todd Haley really struggled was as a head coach. Sound like a broken record there, but yeah, the only time he struggles really with a head coach, and he did make the playoffs with the Chiefs 1 year. All right. So, yeah, you got Todd Haley over there. You got Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman, David Njoku, who everyone's really liking. And if you pick up, you trade for Nick Foles, then you can draft Saquon Barkley, and boom, you're going to have a nice little offense there. As far as the defense from Cleveland goes, I mean, they're young, but they show signs of development. I think they're going to get way better this year. So Cleveland might be a nice little spot for him. How about Denver? All right, they need a quarterback desperately, and they have wasted the last 2 years of this team's prime. This team should have been in the playoffs year after year after the Super Bowl, but struggled because John Elway doesn't know what a good quarterback looks like, believe it or not. All right, so you pick up Nick Foles if you're the Denver Broncos, you trade for him, and that's a playoff team right there. All right, I'm a believer in Nick Foles. I was really kind of on the fence about it, but nonetheless, now that Super Bowl game proved me that he could do it on the biggest stage and do it extremely well. So if I'm Denver, if I'm John Elway, I'm calling Philly saying, hey, what does it take to get Nick Foles? I'm not sure that Nick Foles is worth that number 5 pick, but you could probably get a couple of second-round picks out of him, maybe a second and a third or something like that. And if I'm Denver, I got Nick Foles. I got a 5th pick to use on one of the best players in the draft, whoever's available at that time, or I could trade down and get even more picks, make up for what I lost in the Nick Foles trade. I think those are the 2 best options for Foles as to where he could go. I mean, Arizona's going to be a team that'll be up there, maybe, possibly, but they're a bit of an aging team, and I don't think it'll really work with Nick Foles there, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up. But once again, I think that Wentz should be the starting quarterback for that team next season. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about the NBA games from Monday, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Alright, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far, we talked about pretty much just the Super Bowl and filled up the first two segments with that. With this next segment being the third, we're going to be talking about the NBA games from Monday night. Going to talk about the scores and stats and talk a bit about each team like we always do. Alright, let's get into it. Yesterday, we had the Portland Trailblazers heading into Detroit. And Detroit pulled off another one. Won that one at 111-91. For Portland, you had Damian Lillard with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He shot 8 of 17, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. TJ McCollum with a bad game here. He had 14 points, 6 of 15 shooting, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. Joseph Nurkic only 10 points, 5 rebounds in that one. For the Pistons, you had Blake Griffin with 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 9 of 20 from the field, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Reggie Bullock, who's been playing extremely well since Griffin got to the team. He had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 4 of 8. Stanley Johnson shot 3 of 10 in this one, had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Andre Drummond had 17 points, 5 assists, 17 rebounds, shot 7 of 12. Ish Smith had 7 points, 7 assists. Off the bench, you had Anthony Tolliver with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 6 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. And then Langston Galloway off the bench with 13 points, 6 assists, 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. So that Pistons win right there, it makes it 4 in a row since they got Blake Griffin, and this team has been looking extremely good. All right, Blake Griffin makes them so much better than what they were. Because now with Blake Griffin, it's not like he's a guy out there who's just commanding the ball and just playing ISO the entire time. He's getting everyone else involved. I think that's why you see Reggie Bullock playing extremely well since the trade. And then you got guys like veterans like Anthony Tolliver coming off the bench, stepping up, playing well. Andre Drummond has looked really good since Griffin got there. And they're both doing really well to play off of each other. It's not one where one guy gets his, then the next play or the next drive down, the other guy gets his. It's pretty much like a shared little thing right here. It's a nice little team basketball they got going on in Detroit. And I think right now they're currently the 8th seed, I believe, in the East. Actually, they are currently... Yeah, let's see. They're 26-26. Philly's got the 8th seed right now at 25-25. So, I mean, they're right there. They just need to win a few more games to take over that spot. And we'll see how it all ends up. But as of right now, I mean, the Pistons have been playing really good basketball. I don't think they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. I'm not a crazy guy or anything like that. They're still going to get bounced first round, but nonetheless, they're playing a whole lot better than what they were before. So it'll be interesting to see how this Detroit team ends up, whether it be the 8th seed or maybe they could jump into the 7th or 6th seed. Now that I'm looking at right now, Miami Heat were the 4th seed probably like a week ago, it felt like, and now they're back at the 7th seed, not playing well. So, I mean, they really got to pick it up or else they'll make the playoffs. But, yeah, they'll make the playoffs, actually. Charlotte. Detroit's the only team that could really challenge for the playoff spot in those last couple of seeds. So Miami's got to figure it out, though. I mean, they were playing well, and like I said, just now they haven't been doing the best. Next up, we had the Washington Wizards facing off with the Indiana Pacers, and the Wizards won this one 111-102, currently undefeated without John Wall. Does that mean they don't need John Wall? No, that doesn't. But nonetheless, they're still playing good basketball. All right, you had Bradley Beal with 21 points, shot 9 of 16. Otto Porter had 13 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Markieff Morris with 11 points, 10 rebounds, shot 5 of 13, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Kelly Oubre Jr. with 15 points, 7 rebounds, shot 4 of 9. Mahimi with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of 4 shooting, fouled out in that one. And you had Mike Scott with 11 points off the bench, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 10. For the Pacers, you had Thaddeus Young, not a good game from him, only 7 points, 7 rebounds, shot 3 of 10. Bogdanovich, or is it Bohan? I think it's Bohan. Had 29 points, 4 rebounds, shot 9 of 15. Miles Turner didn't really do much in this one, had 6 points, 5 rebounds, got into foul trouble early throughout the game, too. He finished the game with 5 fouls, only shot 2 of 5 in that one. Lance Stevenson got the start in this one. He shot 4 of 14, 1 of 7 from the three-point line, 13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. No Victor Oladipo or Darren Collison in this one, so that really hurt the Pacers right there. You had DeMontis Sabonis off the bench with 15 points, 4 rebounds, shot 7 of 12. Jefferson had 8 points off the bench. Then you had Young with 17 points off the bench, shot 6 of 10, 5 of 8 from the three-point line. As far as these two teams go, they'll probably both be making the playoffs, but look at the Wizards right there. All right, haven't been playing well all season. And when Ja Wall went down, I figured this is the beginning of the end for them. And no, they're currently the 4th seed, playing well. Currently tied with the Cavs. The Cavs are 30-21. Wizards currently 31-22. So you know how that ends up. Both 7.5 games back of Boston, and you know those Washington Wizards could possibly take over that 3rd seed from the Cavs. And if I'm Boston, I mean, do I want to see the Cavs in the Eastern Conference semifinals before I could see them in the finals? The conference finals. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see how that 3 and 4 seed ends up. I mean, the Cavs, like I said, could very much end up as that 4th seed, and they'll be seeing Boston in that semifinal, Eastern Conference semifinals. And, you know, I just said Boston want to see him. I mean, do the Cavs want to see Boston that early? Imagine LeBron getting bounced in the Eastern Conference semifinals. He'll be gone faster than anything else if that happens. And I have some things to talk about LeBron in that last segment, so I hope the Cleveland fans are listening. All right, next game up, we have the Orlando Magic facing off with the Miami Heat. The Magic won that one, 111-109. Like I said, the Heat have not been playing good basketball as of late. All right, you had Jonathan Simmons for Orlando with 16 points, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 9, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Bismack Biyombo with 9 points, have 5 rebounds. Evan Fournier with 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 6 of 13. Alfred Payton, not really a good game from him, only 10 points, 7 assists, shot 3 of 8. And then off the bench, you had Mo Spates with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 of 9 shooting. Let's see, DJ Augustine, he had 16 points, 3 assists, shot 6 of 11, 3 of 6 off, from the three-point line off the bench. And Aaron Gordon still out of the lineup with a strained left hip. As for the Heat, you had Josh Richardson with 20 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 8 of 13. Justice Winslow, 16 points, 8 rebounds, shot 6 of 10. Hassan Whiteside, 19 points, 14 rebounds, shot 8 of 16. Kelly Olynyk got the start in this one, only played 7 minutes, no shots, no points. Not sure if he got hurt. Might have if he only played 7 minutes and got the start. Then you had Goran Dragic with 13 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, shot 5 of 13, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Then you had Bam Adebayo with 18 points, 10 rebounds, shot 6 of 13, and Tyler Johnson brought in 12 points off the bench, 4 assists, shot 5 of 14, 2 of 7 from the three-point line there. All right, so like I said, the Heat haven't been playing good basketball as of late, and I'm not sure what they do at the trade deadline. All right, really hasn't been talked about too much, but Hassan Whiteside could be a guy that you see get traded at the deadline, I think. All right, he might be one of those guys where you least expect it, and it's like one of those shock trades, like, oh, wow, no one saw this coming. But, I mean, the Heat play well when Bam Adebayo's on the floor. Dude's been playing extremely well this season, has been developing as each game has gone on, and he's not really talked about too much, and I'm not sure why. He is a top 10 rookie in this class. All right, let's see, off the top of my head, rookie rankings. Let's go right here. We got Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Then you go Kyle Kuzma, Lauri Markkanen, Dennis Smith. And let's see, who else am I missing? Josh Jackson been playing pretty well. Let's see, I'll put Bam after Josh Jackson, I guess. I'd say Bam before Josh Jackson because Bam has been playing extremely well. Like, not extremely well, but he's been playing well all season. Josh Jackson's finally starting to figure it out. And for all you Lonzo fans, yeah, I don't have your boy ranked in the top 7 or 8 or whatever. It's just my rankings. You can take it with a grain of salt for all I care. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't think Lonzo's bad or anything like that. All right, I just don't think he's better than those guys I just named. But nonetheless, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Heat do at the deadline. Are you going to keep having Bam come off the bench? And a few of the Heat games, too, you see Bam plays a lot of the fourth quarter, more so than Hassan Whiteside does. I mean, maybe they're starting to shift that way. So, I mean, like I said, just don't be surprised if Hassan Whiteside gets moved at the trade deadline, all right? I'm calling that now. If I get that, I deserve credit for it, all right? Let's see. Next game up, we had the New Orleans Pelicans facing off with the Utah Jazz, and Utah blew them out the water. Utah won this one 133-109. For Utah, you had Derek Favors with 19 points, 7 rebounds, shot 7 of 11. Joe Ingles, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 7 of 12, 4 of 5 from the three-point line. Rudy Gobert with 19 points, 10 rebounds, shot 7 of 8. Ricky Rubio with 20 points, 11 assists, shot 8 of 19, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Donovan Mitchell only got 19 minutes in this one. Not sure if he got hurt or not, but nonetheless, he shot 1 of 6 and only had 2 points. Off the bench, you had Rodney Hood with 30 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 12 of 14, 4-4 from the three-point line. Nice little watch me play to teams who are trying to trade for him right now. I mean, teams who want him are going to be that's going to drive up his value a little bit more with that little game he had right there. And then for the Pelicans, you had Nikolai Mirotic with 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 2 of 8. Not a great game from him. Anthony Davis with 15 points, 11 rebounds, shot 6 of 16, 0 of 2 from the three-point line. Rajon Rondo, nice little game from him. 18 points, 8 assists, shot 7 of 13, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Is that the Rajon Rondo shooting 4 of 6 from the three-point line? That's ridiculous right there. Drew Holiday, he had 28 points, 5 rebounds, shot 13 of 21, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Etuan Moore had 14 points, shot 5 of 9, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Ian Clark with 14 points, shooting 7 of 11. Once again, though, New Orleans lost that one, 133-109. For Utah, I'm curious to see what they do with Hood. I think he is going to get moved, but I'd be really surprised if they ended up keeping him. And I'm not sure really what you get for a guy like Rodney Hood. Probably like a late first-round pick, since he's going to be going to a team. Probably he's going to go to a contender, I feel. So now I'm just pretty much wondering where he's going to go. Is he going to end up on the Cavs, or is he going to end up on a team like the Pistons maybe? And if he goes to the Pistons, I'm not sure what the Pistons really have to give up. Reggie Jackson is still hurt, so you can't trade him. And I mean, trading Stanley Johnson, I'm not sure if I'm the Pistons, I do that, because I think Stanley Johnson is right there on the cusp of being a little solid player. Right, he's got to fix his jump shot a bit, but he's doing everything else pretty well. So it's going to be interesting to see what these teams do. All right. As for the Charlotte Hornets, they went into Denver, and Denver won this one 121-104. For Charlotte, you had Dwight Howard with 19 points, 7 rebounds, shot 9 of 11. Kemba Walker had 20 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 13, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Nicholas Batum with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 5 of 11, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. For Denver, you had Nikola Jokic with 15 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 5 of 11. Jamal Murray with 18 points, 7 assists, shot 7 of 15, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Will Barton, 18 points, 8 assists, shot 7 of 10. And you had Gary Harris with 27 points, shot 9 of 13 from the field, and 5 of 7 from the three-point line. All around great game from that starting five from the Nuggets. And that's another team too. Are they going to do anything at the deadline? Or are they going to be trading for Marcus Smart? There's little rumors going around that they might be one of the teams who are looking to trade for him. Maybe give up a guy like Emmanuel Mudiay, or maybe a first-round pick that they have. And if the Celtics get the Nuggets first-round pick for Marcus Smart, I mean, Danny Ainge is a genius. All right, because let's see, what are the Nuggets currently? I might be looking down on the Nuggets a bit. I forgot. They're not that bad this year. All right, yeah, so they're currently the 6th seed. So obviously that pick isn't going to be a lottery pick. Now that makes sense. But Danny Ainge could be trying to get those first-round picks, try and come up with a trade for Lou Williams possibly, or maybe a guy like Tyreek Evans. And if I'm the Celtics, I'm going for Lou Williams before I go for Tyreek Evans. I think Lou Williams having one of his best seasons, and he's a monster off the bench. So that's exactly what the Celtics need right there. All right, next game up, we had the Chicago Bulls heading into SAC, faced off with the Kings, and the Kings won this one 104-98. After the first quarter, Chicago was up 28-9, and the Kings just kept clawing back after that one. For the Bulls, you had Bobby Portis with 18 points, 14 rebounds, shot 7 of 19, also had 4 assists. Zach LaVine, 27 points, 9 of 18 shooting, 4 of 8 from the three-point line, also dunked on Jakar Sampson, sent him back to the G League. Justin Holiday, he had 20 points, 4 rebounds, shot 6 of 10, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Denzel Valentine with 11 points, 7 rebounds, shot 5 of 9. For the Kings, you had Zach Randolph with only 11 points, 9 rebounds. Justin Jackson, 11 points, 4 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox, only 5 points in this one. Not really a great game from him. Bogdan Bogdanovic had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 3 of 9. Off the bench, you had Jakar Sampson with 9 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 5 from the field. And yeah, he did get sent back to the G League this morning. Obviously not because of that one dunk, but it's funny to talk about. Costa Koufas, he only had 5 points off the bench. George Hill, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 4 of 9. 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. You had Garrett Temple with 12 points, shot 4 of 9, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line also. Same identical stat line as George Hill, except Hill had 2 more points. Once again, the Kings won that one, 104-108. Then for the final game of the night, we had the Dallas Mavericks in LA facing off with the Clippers, and the Clippers won that one 104-101. For Dallas, you had Dirk Nowitzki with 12 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 11. Yogi Ferrell had 9 points in that one. Wesley Matthews had 23 points, 5 assists, shot 7 of 16, 7 of 12 from the 3-point line. Dennis Smith had 12 points, 5 assists, fouled out on that one, shot 5 of 17 before fouling out. Then you had Devin Harris off the bench with 16 points, shot 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. For the Clippers, you had Danilo Gallinari with 28 points, 5 rebounds, shot 9 of 13 from the field, 4 of 5 from the 3-point line. Tobias Harris had 19 points, shot 9 of 20. Avery Bradley, 12 points, shot 6 of 10. Off the bench, you had, Lou Williams with 15 points, 8 assists, shot 5 of 15, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. And DeAndre Jordan in this one, he had 6 points, only shot 3 of 6, had 13 rebounds also though. Once again, the Clippers won that one, 104-101. Clippers I like how they're doing this little rebuild that they got going on. They're still a team over 500. They're not a bad team getting rid of Blake Griffin, all right? They still have good, solid players around there. And yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to make the playoffs, but I know right now they're trying to still come up with picks, and that's where you see a guy like Lou Williams possibly getting traded, maybe even DeAndre Jordan if Cleveland pulls the trigger. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Clippers get back if they do end up trading those guys and how it's going to affect their rebuild. So that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be making my picks for the NBA games tonight and talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
GSMC Sports Podcast. So far on the show, we talked about the Super Bowl, we talked about the NBA games from yesterday, and for this one, we're going to be talking about LeBron and the Cavs once again. They were back in the news. Bleacher Report tweeted out an article talking about how LeBron and the front office really aren't communicating anymore. LeBron cursed at two front office executives at that Kevin Love meeting where they just yelled at him the entire time. So obviously things aren't good and going good in Cleveland, all right? And I mean, we all have to know that the guy is leaving after this year, right? I mean, there can't possibly be anyone out there besides Cavalier fans, I guess, who think the guy is going to be back with Cleveland next season. I mean, look at the way it's going right now. All right, don't tell me, this happens every year, yada, yada, yada. LeBron's going to fix it. No, this is completely different. Let me tell you. All right, completely different. All right, that whole LeBron's going to fix it argument isn't going to work this year. I'll tell you that much, right? Because if he's not talking with the front office and the front office isn't talking with him, then this is not like how it was. All right, this is all Dan Gilbert's fault. All of it. All right, Dan Gilbert is the Jim Irsay of the NBA. All right, the dude doesn't know. He just doesn't know anything. That's it. He knows nothing about basketball, Dan Gilbert. The only thing he knows is how to own an NBA team. All right? That's it. He shouldn't be making front office decisions. He shouldn't be trading for players and not trading for players. All right? He should have been having David Griffin do that. All right? Should have never let Griffin go. Should have gave him a contract extension. But nonetheless, he didn't. Here we are. All right? It's been well documented on Bleacher Report in that article that Dan Gilbert's the one running the show. That little GM they got, Kobe Altman or whatever his name is, he's just a puppet out there, all right? The dude doesn't do anything. He didn't even know what his role is. That's what the article said. And I believe it 100%. All right, Dan Gilbert's the one who's been making trades, picking up players, and pretty much doing all that the stuff GM should do. All right, and he's failed. He's terrible at it. Terrible, garbage, awful, terrible again, awful again, garbage again. All right, dude doesn't know what he's doing. All right, so that David Griffin, when he was there, yeah, he'd make decisions, but he'd consult LeBron about it. And there's people who get mad because LeBron has a say in it, but that's the best player in the world. Get over it. All right, obviously he's gonna have a say because obviously you're gonna want to keep the best player in the world who plays for your, just so happens to play for your team, happy. All right. Article also said that LeBron didn't want Kyrie Irving to get traded. Okay. And I don't think David Griffin wanted to trade Kyrie either. I think LeBron wanted him to come to training camp and talk to him or whatever. But no David Griffin there. Dan Gilbert pulled the trigger, and Kyrie Irving's now playing for the best team in the East. Believe it or not. Yeah, they said Kyrie couldn't lead a team, and look where both teams are at right now. All right, the Cavs need someone like Kyrie Irving, and maybe they did have someone like him. Oh yeah, they had exactly him. So right now, I mean, the Cavs are in shambles. LeBron's leaving after this year. I firmly believe that. Where's he gonna go? Maybe San Antonio or Houston. Maybe the Lakers, but I don't see that happening. I mean, maybe Magic Johnson could get a nice little tampering violation fine again, like he did today. Got one for tampering with Giannis Antetokounmpo. But nonetheless, going back to the Cavs, I mean, this is ridiculous, man. This is how it's all ended. But I don't think, like, obviously they should and need to make a trade at the deadline, but I'm not sure what they're going to do or if they're going to do it. All right, Dan Gilbert's trying too hard. I think this is just a power struggle right here. Okay, I think this is Dan Gilbert trying to show, it's not LeBron, it's me. Look at me. I did it all. I'm doing everything for the Cavs. Look at me. All right, and it's obviously been because of LeBron and David Griffin when David Griffin was there. All right, Dan Gilbert is running this team to the ground, and they're going to be terrible, just like they were that little period of time where they didn't have LeBron. All right, they're going to be that bad, and let me tell you that. All right, because LeBron is the reason why this team is currently 30-21. LeBron is the reason why they're above 500. LeBron is the reason why they've won a title. All right, yeah, Kyrie did have some production in that series, obviously, at that nice little game-winning shot, but nonetheless, LeBron is the reason why this team is in the dump year after year. All right, and once he leaves, and again, for those Cleveland fans, I don't think he isn't. I mean, you're going to have to get on par with the rest of the world because he's leaving. All right. There's nothing that could fix this. Nothing unless Dan Gilbert sells the Cavs before LeBron heads over to free agency, and I don't see that happening. All right. So LeBron's going to leave. Cavs are currently in shambles. Nothing's going to get fixed. Doesn't matter who they trade for, whether it be DeAndre Jordan, Kemba Walker, or whoever, Rodney Hood, George Hill, doesn't matter. It's not going to get fixed. This team isn't going to the finals. I'll tell you that much right now. All right, better get used to it now, or they got to figure. I mean, let's say some. Let's try and figure out some nice things to say about the Cavs. Is there anything that could fix them? All right, is there anything that could keep LeBron in Cleveland? And you know what? I can't think of a reason at all. If I'm LeBron, why would I want to stay there? All right, Dan Gilbert is trying to do too much, trying to show everyone that it's all about him and he's the reason why the Cavs are out here. And you know what? Yeah, Dan Gilbert's doing a great job of showing that he's the reason why the Cavs are like this. All right, Cavs are a terrible team right now. Yeah, they're above 500. Yeah, they're 30-21. But for the talent that they have, they should be a whole lot better. All right, so congrats, Dan Gilbert. We're all looking and seeing what kind of GM you are. All right, but like I said, going back to LeBron, what's going to keep him in Cleveland? What? I'm drawing a blank, honestly. I mean, unless they make it to the finals and win it, somehow, I don't see how LeBron comes back. All right? Like I said, he's not talking with the front office. Front office isn't talking with him. It's pretty much a destroyed relationship there. Yeah, there's nothing that could keep LeBron there, like I said, unless Dan Gilbert just sells the team miraculously right before free agency, and maybe LeBron's like, oh, I don't have to deal with this guy anymore. All right, so maybe that's the only way how, but other than that, I mean, I just don't really see it happening. Sorry, Cleveland, you're going to be a terrible team once that guy leaves your franchise. All right, but nonetheless, let's pick some basketball games. All right. Let's start off with the Cavs. We got the Cavs facing off with the Orlando Magic. This one's in Orlando. Cleveland's favored by 6.5 in this one. And if I remember correctly from the last game they played, the Cavs barely won this one, like 104, 105 or something like that. I'm going to go with the Cavs in this one. There's no Aaron Gordon, and Cavs just aren't going to look good, but nonetheless, they're going to win. They're the better team, and they have no reason to lose against a team like the Magic. Then we got the Boston Celtics facing off with the Toronto Raptors, looking like an Eastern Conference Finals preview there. Kyrie Irving's coming back, and look like Marcus Morris is going to be back for this one too, so it's going to be a fun little one. All right, this game's in Toronto. The Celtics currently 18-7 on the road. 21-4 is the Raptors' home record. Toronto's currently favored by 5 in this one. Celtics have won 3 in a row, I think it is, with Terry Rozier leading the way. I'm gonna go with the Celtics. They've been playing really good basketball. Brad Stevens has a nice little game plan set up for them game after game. They've been doing extremely well. The Raptors have also been playing good basketball, but I think Brad Stevens is going to figure out a way to limit Kyle Lowry. DeRozan's going to have a nice little game here. He always goes off against the Celtics. So I'm going to go with the Celtics in this one, but it should be a good game there. Then we got the Memphis Grizzlies facing off with the Atlanta Hawks, and this one's going to be an ugly one, boys and girls. All right, Hawks are currently 11-16 at home. Grizzlies are currently 5-19 on the road. I'm going to go with the Hawks in this one. All right, I'm going to go with Dennis Schroeder and that Atlanta Hawks team. All right, if you live in the Atlanta area, tickets are starting at $5, so go ahead and go out there. But nonetheless, I mean, both these teams are bad. Both of them are going to be in the lottery. Both are probably going to be bad next season. So, I mean, there's really nothing to look forward to in this game, but I'm going with the Hawks. Then we got the Rockets facing off with the Brooklyn Nets. This one's in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's currently 11-17 at home. Rockets currently 8-7 on the road. This is an easy one here. Don't really need to talk about it too much. I'm going with the Rockets. Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie has the game of his life and knocks off the Rockets, but nonetheless, I don't think that's happening, even if he does play extremely well. You got James Harden, you got Chris Paul, you got a bunch of other players you got to look out for. So Rockets are going to win this one big right here. And then we got the Milwaukee Bucks facing off with the New York Knicks. And I'm going to go with the... Knicks got a nice little home record. They're currently 16-10 at home. Who do I want to go with? I'm going to go with I picked the Knicks last time these teams played, and it was in Milwaukee. Milwaukee won that one, so I guess I got to go with the home team in this one. Yeah, I'll go with the Knicks. Why not? I'll look a whole lot smarter if they end up doing well in this game, picking them. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Knicks. I think Kristaps Porzingis is going to play well. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to do his thing, but I mean, the Knicks are a good team at home, so that's why I'm going with them. Then on TNT for the first game, we got the Washington Wizards facing off with the Philadelphia 76ers. No John Wall. He's going to be out for a few months, I think it is. Wizards are currently, 5-0 without him, 4-0 without him. And let's see, this game's in Philly. Who do I want to go with here? All right, Wizards are currently 14-13 on the road. Philly's 13-10 at home. Do I want to trust the process, or do I want to go with the team that's been hot? They got to lose eventually, I guess, the Wizards. So I'm going to go with the Sixers in this one. I think Joel Embiid's going to have a nice little game here. Ben Simmons also. J.J. Redick's been playing extremely well this season. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Sixers. I'm not too sure on that pick, but like I said, I mean, the Wizards got to lose eventually. And then we got the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off with the Golden State Warriors. And, it's not a game between these two teams unless Kevin Durant is getting asked some type of question about his old team. All right, and it's garbage. All right, if you're a journalist, stop asking KD about questions about the Thunder. All right, that move happened last year. All right, get over it. No one wants to hear about this anymore. It's just basketball now. All right, yeah, I get it was a story last year, but nonetheless, this year it's kind of tiresome to be hearing questions about, do you talk to your teammates? Do you miss playing for them? Is there any bad blood? I mean, stop it already. Do better. All right, but nonetheless, we got the Thunder facing off with the Warriors at home. Warriors always win this game, so I'm going with the Warriors. They're favored by 10, as they should be. Warriors are winning this one big. Then for the final game, we got the Phoenix Suns facing off with the LA Lakers. Lonzo Ball still out, I believe. Has been out for a while. I think a few weeks, it seems like, with the MCL sprain, I think it was. Or was it MCL strain? Let's see. I don't know. Nonetheless, he's out. He's not playing, but I'm going to go with the Lakers in this one still. Suns aren't a good team. Lakers are not a good team, but a better one than the Suns, so I'm going with them in that one. All right, let's see. Let's recap the picks. Let's see. I got the Cavs beating the Magic, the Celtics beating the Raptors, the Hawks beating the Grizzlies, the Rockets beating the Nets, the Knicks beating the Bucks, the Sixers beating the Wizards, the Warriors beating the Thunder, and the Lakers beating the Suns. I don't think I made one upset pick today. I did not, so I'm going with all the favorites tonight. Usually that's not a good thing, but hopefully it works out for me. So that's actually going to wrap it up for this podcast. Just to recap, we talked about the Super Bowl for the first 2 segments. Let's see, what else we talked about? We talked about the games from last night in the NBA, talked about LeBron, how he's not coming back after this year, and that's just my opinion, all right? Dan Gilbert, you could thank him for that. And we made my picks for the games going on tonight in the NBA. So that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. Thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.